guys, and welcome back to another Chit Chat with Cass. So today's episode started as a discussion on some of my favorite actors and actresses, but it soon grew to be too big while I was outlining this, so I've actually decided to split things up a bit. For this episode, I will just be focusing on the actresses, and I'm going to do a separate episode on the actors at some point. So I am a huge movie and TV lover, so obviously I'm exposed to a lot of different actors and actresses. While talking about my previous favorite movie podcast episodes, we kind of realized that some of the actors and actresses repeat a lot in those films. So why not talk about some of my favorites? So trying to organize this a bit, I decided to separate these lovely ladies into two categories, you could say. I really wanted to pick people that I love in multiple things and not just for a single specific role. And I have a list of those particular actresses. But I also came to realize I have some that maybe I don't have a long list of favorite movies from them, but I enjoy them so much that I'll actually go out of my way to watch a movie or a show simply because they are in that film. And I feel like those favorites are worthy of this list as well. So let's start with the actresses that I have a lot of favorite movies from. I've seen many films of theirs, and that is why they are clearly on this specific favorite list. So, first up we have an actress that was born in 1949, and according to IMDb, she has 83 acting credits and has won 3 Oscars and hundreds of other wins and nominations for other awards. And that is Meryl Streep. So some movies that I have seen from her, and some of my favorites, I've seen Hope Springs. It's Complicated. I love that movie. It's such a good comedy. Devil Wears Prada. Miranda Priestly, like all day long. Mamma Mia. While it's not one of my favorite musicals, I do enjoy this one, but I haven't seen the sequel. Prime. Series of Unfortunate Events. She made a good Aunt Josephine in that movie. Death Becomes Her. Yes, I love this so much. I've loved this movie for decades. I still do. Postcards from the Edge, where she essentially was playing Carrie Fisher. Ricky and the Flash. Into the Woods. Now, not too hot on this musical. I really wasn't a fan of this movie, but I pretty much was in love with her look throughout this film. Oddly enough, I have not seen the 3 movies she's won Oscars for. The Iron Lady, which I doubt I'll ever see, but I do really want to see Sophie's Choice and Kramer vs. Kramer. Those are now on my list of movies to see. Next up, we have an actress born in 1964. She has 57 acting credits, 1 Oscar, and many other nominations and wins for other awards, and that is Sandra Bullock. So, some movies that I've seen are favorites. The Blind Side, which she won the Oscar for. All About Steve, which is a really stupid, funny movie, but it totally makes me laugh. The Proposal, her with Ryan Reynolds, is like comedy gold. Premonition, it's a great creepy movie with different twists and turns. The Lake House, definitely more of a chick flick movie, but it is cute. 2 Weeks Notice is comical with her and Hugh Grant. Miss Congeniality, I love her in that, and I love that character that she plays. Practical Magic, seen it a million times. I love her, and I love Sally. Hope Floats. Hope Floats, where her character has to deal with the shittiest situation and a really bratty daughter, but I still enjoy that movie. Demolition Man, and that is a movie that my dad watches a lot, but I usually really just don't get into it. I always see bits and pieces of it here and there. And then Ocean's 8 I recently saw, and I really enjoyed her in that as well. She's even was on a few episodes of George Lopez, where she was pretty funny. I think her character's name was Amy, maybe? I'm not sure. I just remember seeing her on George Lopez, because I believe she helped discover George Lopez. Next, we have an actress born in 1967 with 61 acting credits, 1 Oscar win, and various other wins and awards, and that is Julia Roberts. So, the list I have for her: Mother's Day. She's briefly in that one, but I enjoyed her little part. Eat, Pray, Love, Valentine's Day, America's Sweetheart, another great comedy movie, and she's great in that. Erin Brockovich, that's what she won the Oscar for. It's based on real life, of course, and I watch that movie constantly. Runaway Bride, I also watch this movie like way too much. Anytime it is on TV, I will put it on TV, and there's like, there's some scenes in this movie that I oddly relate to. Stepmom, I also really enjoy this one. My Best Friend's Wedding, where she is horrible. Okay, Julia Roberts' character in this movie is horrible. She's a horrible friend, but it's still a good movie. Something to Talk About. Hook. She plays Tinkerbell in Hook. Pretty Woman, can't go wrong with, Pretty Woman. You work on commission, right? Big mistake. Huge. Good movie. Steel Magnolias, definitely a chick flick, but I can watch this movie over and over again as well, even though I know how sad it is. And according to my mom, I also really need to see Satisfaction and Mystic Pizza. I've not seen those of hers. Next up, we have an actress born in 1948 with 123 acting credits, 1 Oscar, and many nominations and awards. And that is Kathy Bates. So, recently she has been on American Horror Story. She's played various characters for that. She was also in Valentine's Day, The Blind Side, a little small part. Fred Claus, she actually plays Santa Claus's mom in that. Rumor Has It, she's also briefly in that. Rat Race, she is the crazy squirrel lady. She's very funny. Should have bought a squirrel. I say that all the time. Waterboy, the crazy mom. Titanic, where she plays Molly Brown. Fried Green Tomatoes, another favorite movie of mine. And then, probably her best performance is Misery. And that's what she got her Oscar for, so it was definitely well-deserved. Then we have an actress that was born in 1946 with 67 acting credits, 1 Oscar and other awards and nominations, and that is Diane Keaton. So she is in Finding Dory. She actually plays Dory's mom's voice. The Big Wedding, that is a great comedy with a huge cast of people. Mad Money is another perfect comedy, and I can watch this movie all the time. Because I Said So, great cast again, and she's just like really good in this as like the mom character. The Family Stone, that's a good Christmas movie that I kind of avoided for a while because there's a couple actresses in it that I don't really care for, but it is a good Christmas movie, and even though, it has like sadder tones in it as well, it is a good one. Something's Gotta Give is another fantastic comedy because it's Diane Keaton with Jack Nicholson, and they play off of each other so good. The Other Sister. And okay, in this one, she's kind of a bitch, okay? You gotta learn to love her, but she's the mom character in that, and she is kind of horrible in it. First Wives Club, another favorite. So many favorites. I know, I have a lot of favorite movies, guys. But she's great with the other ladies in it as well. And then recently, I just saw Book Club, and I just saw it, and it was really funny. All of the ladies in that were great as well, so I had to add that to Diane Keaton's list. And I've never seen Father of the Bride movies, but I'm told that I should watch those, that they're pretty good. I also have not seen Annie Hall, which she won the Oscar for, nor have I ever seen the Godfather movies. I know, don't hate me. I say I'm such a movie lover, but yeah, I've never seen the Godfather movies. Next, we have an actress born in 1976 with 59 acting credits and 1 Oscar. And same as the others, she has various other nominations as wins as well. And that is Reese Witherspoon. So we have Wild, which was a very interesting movie. I didn't read the book, but I've seen the movie once. This Means War, which is a pretty comical movie, her and Chris Pine. Then she was in Water for Elephants. I really liked that book, so it was interesting when, I'm a fan of hers when she was cast in that specific role. She's not exactly what I saw for that part in Water for Elephants, but she did a good job. Then we have Four Christmases, which is one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies. I love it so much. Her and Vince Vaughn play off of each other perfectly, so the comedy is just gold in that. Just like Heaven, her and Mark Ruffalo. It's also like more of like a chick flick comedy that I really enjoy. We have Walk the Line, fantastic movie. She plays June Carter in that, and that she won her Oscar for. And it is also well-deserved, her and Joaquin Phoenix. Sweet Home Alabama, I can watch this all the time, and I feel like it is always playing. It's one of my mom's favorite movies, and we quote it like all the time as well. Legally Blonde, of course, have to include Elle Woods because she is so fabulous. She was also in Pleasantville and Cruel Intentions, which I've actually only seen bits and pieces of, but someone, ruined the whole ending for me, so I haven't really felt the need to watch the whole film. Next, we have an actress born in 1975 with 76 acting credits. Let's see, she has a Golden Globe win and other wins and nominations. That is Drew Barrymore. So starting with her newest show, Santa Clarita Diet, this show is amazing. If you have dark humor, watch this show. It's so good. It's on Netflix. It is so good. And her husband on the show are like couple goals, okay? It's amazing. I've also seen her in Charlie's Angels, Whip It, which she also directed, Blended, which is one of the Adam Sandler movies, He's Just Not That Into You, which I actually forgot she was in, but I've seen that movie several times. There's so many different actors and actresses in that movie, I sometimes forget, but 51st Dates, I love this movie. Of course, that's another Adam Sandler one. She's also in Duplex. Riding in Cars with Boys. I was really into this movie when I was younger, and I honestly don't know why, because I didn't get a lot of the movie. I was too young to understand some of it. So watching it as an adult, I'm like, why was I watching this so young? But it's still a really good movie. Never Been Kissed. Home Fries. The Wedding Singer, another great movie, the one that started her collabs with Adam Sandler, if you will. Ever After, which is my favorite Cinderella movie. Scream, briefly. Batman Forever, and E.T., of course. Then we have an actress born in 1990, and she has 54 acting credits and has won several awards and nominations at film festivals, and that is Kristen Stewart. I feel like I need to put like a dun 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 after that, because so many people hate Kristen Stewart and hate her acting, and I like to defend it to so many different people because I find it more natural than other people's acting. I don't know. You can hate me. Oh well. So clearly she kind of rose to fame in Twilight. That's what she's most known for, the whole Twilight series. But I've also seen her in some of my favorites are The Runaways. She played Joan Jett in that. Welcome to the Rileys. I love this movie so much. It is definitely a smaller film. It was more of like a film festival movie, but I really love Welcome to the Rileys. I actually need to watch it again. Adventureland is a pretty funny movie. The Cake Eaters. The Messengers is a nice thriller. Speak. I feel like that movie would have quite the impact these days. I haven't seen it for quite some time, but I should probably rewatch it. Cold Creek Manor is another good thriller. Panic Room. This is a great thriller as well, and she's really good in that one. I also want to see this new movie called Lizzie, which is basically about the Lizzie Borden case, but I believe it kind of has a spin on things. And I believe she's working on the new Charlie's Angels movie or show, TV show, I think. I think that's what I heard. Next up, we have an actress born in 1971 that has 62 acting credits and has been nominated for 2 Oscars and various Golden Globes and other awards. That is Winona Ryder. So, Stranger Things is one of her more recent things, a very popular show, of course, and she literally plays like the only parent that pays attention to her children in that town. All the other parents have no idea what's going on with their kids. She was in Black Swan, Star Trek, where she played Spock's mom, Mr. Deeds, Girl Interrupted, How to Make an American Quilt, The Crucible. I really liked this movie in high school. I was really into that story, if you will. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Now, I put this on this list because I don't know why I have not seen this. I need to see this. I hear fabulous things about this, but I haven't seen this. She's also in Mermaids, which is great. It's really good. Her and Cher and Christina Ricci. Edward Scissorhands. Great Balls of Fire. She's good in that. It's basically a movie about Jerry Lee Lewis and his life. She plays his wife/cousin. And, Beetlejuice. If you know anything about me, I'm a huge Lydia Dietz fan, so I had to include Beetlejuice, of course. I haven't seen Little Women or Age of Innocence, which is what she got her Oscar nominations for. So next up are the actresses that, as I said, I just really enjoy them. I enjoy their performances. So I might not have as many favorites for them as some of the previous actresses, but I watch movies they are in or shows specifically because they are in them. So I think that that's pretty close to being a favorite, right? I mean, obviously something about them like pulls me in, so I definitely think they deserve to be on this favorites list. First up, we have, this actress was born in 1965 and has 79 acting credits with 1 Oscar and many other wins and nominations, and that is Viola Davis. First of all, I don't watch How to Get Away with Murder, and I'm not sure why, because I love Viola Davis, and I think I would really get into that show. So, some things that I've seen her in, Suicide Squad. She made a great Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller is kind of like a badass character, and she does it perfectly. I've also seen her in Beautiful Creatures. The Help, of course, was a big one. Disturbia, she had a small part in that movie, and I love that movie. I actually was like, whoa, yeah, that is Viola Davis, isn't it? And Fences she got her Oscar for, and I really want to see that as well. I feel like as I was making this list, I created a separate list of all these movies that I also need to see because I enjoy these actresses. But yes. And for Viola Davis, there's also that new movie coming out. I believe it's called Widows. It looks really good and an interesting storyline. It kind of looks kind of like a, I don't know, intense action movie. And sometimes action movies are hit or miss for me, but this one looks very good. So I definitely want to see that. And the fact that, you know, it kind of seems like she's the main character, it definitely pushes me to want to see it even more. Next, we have an actress born in 1974 and has 62 acting credits with a Golden Globe and other various awards and nominations. Sarah Paulson. Funny thing about her is I really became a fan from American Horror Story, of course, but looking back over the years, I've seen her in a few other things before that show. I just didn't know who she was. So, yes, of course we have American Horror Story for her. I love her every season in all the different characters she plays. Some of my favorite characters from the show, Lana Winters, Cordelia Good is definitely one of my favorites, and Bette and Dot as well. She was also in 12 Years a Slave, but she's a bitch in that movie. She's horrible in that movie. It's like, she's a good actress in that movie, but she's a bitch. The character's a bitch. She was in New Year's Eve, a small part, but every time I see her, I'm all like, oh, it's Sarah Paulson. Fangirl a little bit. She was also a guest star on Grey's Anatomy. The Other Sister, she's one of the sisters in that. What Women Want, I believe she worked at the office there. And, of course, American Crime Story. She was really good in that. She played Marcia Clark for the OJ case. And Ocean's 8. I love everyone in that movie, and I was, like, really excited to see her casted in, like, this, like, very, like, female-centric movie. And I want to see Bird Box. It's coming out on Netflix soon, so I definitely want to see that one. And that has Sarah Paulson and Sandra Bullock in it. Then we have an actress born in 1988 with 30 acting credits and a few different win and noms, you know, for film festivals. She's just another one that I've gone out of my way to see her work because I enjoy her performance so much, and that is Emily Browning. So, Sucker Punch is a big one. Zack Snyder movie. A lot of people don't get into this film, but I really like this movie for some reason. She is the main character in that. She's also in The Uninvited, which is a great thriller movie with, like, plot twists that I didn't see coming, which I always appreciate. In the Series of Unfortunate Events, the movie that came out with Jim Carrey, she was Violet in that. And she made a good Violet. Even if the script wasn't exactly super accurate to the book, she did make a good Violet. Ghost Ship, she is the little girl in that movie. It's good and creepy. And I also saw the movie Sleeping Beauty, which is a really weird movie. I saw it because of her, but it's a weird movie. But it is also one of those movies that I wonder if the director knows what ASMR is, because the whole movie is like filmed and recorded like an ASMR video. Like totally unintentional ASMR if you want to watch it. The plot and the story is so fucking weird, but if you want some unintentional ASMR, you can check out Sleeping Beauty. Next, we have an actress born in 1978 with 58 acting credits and various wins and noms. That is Zoe Saldana. So she was in Star Trek as Uhura, and I think she makes a good, like, updated Uhura from, like, the TV show or the past films. In Guardians of the Galaxy, she is Gamora, and I love Gamora. I think she's great. I'm really glad that they decided to do her like with just like makeup instead of making her like a motion capture character. Apparently she did a Rosemary's Baby TV series that I had never heard of until I was making this outline, but now I really want to see it. She's also in Vantage Point for a little part in that. Guess Who, which is a funny comedy with her and Ashton Kutcher. Pirates of the Caribbean. She's in the first Pirates of the Caribbean, and I always forget that. It's just like a small role, but it's her, definitely her. And Crossroads, which I used to watch all the time with my friends. Now for Zoe Saldana, I know that Avatar is like a huge one for people. It was like such a big thing, but even when Avatar came out, I didn't really care about the movie. I didn't see it in theaters. I've seen it once, and I really don't have any interest in seeing it again. Like, I don't know why, but it just did not catch me whatsoever. I know that they're making like a bunch of sequels to it now, and I really don't care. I mean, I still love Zoe Saldana, but I just don't get the whole, Avatar hype. There is a movie that I want to see from her. It's called like Colombiana, I believe, and it kind of looks like an action type movie where her character's like going after people that killed her parents or something to that effect. I saw trailers for it years ago and I just never got around to seeing it, so that's definitely on my list to see. Then we have an actress born in 1945 with 46 acting credits, nominated for 2 Oscars and various noms and wins. That is Bette Midler. So let's see, more recently I saw her in Parental Guidance. That was with Billy Crystal, and they were basically kind of the funny grandparents in that. She was also in Stepford Wives, and I enjoyed that movie remake. What Women Want, I think she was a therapist in that film. That Old Feeling, I used to watch this movie all the time. It is definitely a chick flick comedy, and another one of those that I don't know why I was watching that movie when I was so young. The First Wives Club, another movie I watch over and over again. I mentioned it because of Diane Keaton. Hocus Pocus, every Halloween, guys. Every Halloween. Winifred is my all-time favorite. Big Business is another comedy movie that I love so much. Can repeat it a lot. And for that movie, Bette Midler is alongside Lily Tomlin, who is also on her own fantastic and fabulous. She is so hilarious. If you guys don't watch Grace and Frankie, you're seriously missing out. But literally also, just a side note, everything I see Lily Tomlin in, she's also incredible. And I also hear she's going to be doing the voice of Grandmama in a new Addams Family cartoon. Next, we have an actress born in 1944 with 93 acting credits, nominated for an Oscar and other awards. That is Stockard Channing. So I noticed her pop up in some of my favorite movies when I did that podcast. And then I realized that I am kind of, I don't have like a bunch of favorites for her, but I do just like really enjoy her. And so I've seen her in Where the Heart Is, great favorite movie of mine, and she's really good in that. Practical Magic, she's one of the amazing funny aunts. First Wives Club, as I mentioned, I do like First Wives Club, so she's in that only briefly, but I still added it to the list. And then Grease, of course, Rizzo. And I feel like me personally, and maybe so many of us as adults look back and are like, wow, maybe Rizzo had the right idea, or maybe she was a little bit smarter than everybody else. And then, maybe Sandy was a little bit of an idiot. Maybe that's just me. Then we have an actress born in 1948 with 61 acting credits and 2 Oscars. That is Diane Wiest. So she is the other crazy but lovable aunt in Practical Magic. She is also in Edward Scissorhands as Peg, one of the, a lot of people say the original ASMR inventor because of her makeup routine. The Lost Boy, she's the mom character in that. Birdcage, another favorite movie of mine. She's the mom in that. It's such a good movie. The Associate, she is great and really funny with Whoopi Goldberg in that, if you guys haven't seen it. I feel like that's kind of like an underrated movie, but it's so funny. And she is in the original Footloose as well. She's the mom in that. And she actually has a really fantastic line in the town meeting of that. She won an Oscar for Bullets Over Broadway and Hannah and Her Sisters. And I have not seen those movies. I would have to look up the details on them to see if I actually want to add them to my watch later list. Then we have an actress from 1988 with 42 acting credits and 1 Oscar and various other wins and noms. That is Emma Stone. So she was in The Help, Easy A, which was, I think, my introduction to Emma Stone. And she's amazing and so good in that movie. She makes the character. So that is really what drew me into Emma Stone. She's also in Zombieland, which is another great movie. And she's really great in that as well. And I actually hear that they might be making like a sequel to Zombieland. Would totally be on board for that. The House Bunny is a cute little comedy. I saw Superbad literally once, and I have no need to ever see it again, and I don't even remember her in that movie. There's a show on Netflix called Manic that I would like to see. She's in it, of course, Emma Stone. And she won her Oscar for La La Land, but I don't really have any interest in seeing this movie, as someone ruined the ending for me. So, you know, I have no interest in seeing the movie because you ruined it. I hate when people ruin things for others. And I also hear she is meant to be playing Cruella de Vil in the new Disney movie. Next, this actress was born in 1981 and has 63 acting credits, 1 Oscar, and lots of other wins and nominations. That is Natalie Portman. So Where the Heart Is, one of my favorites I mentioned, and she's the main character in that, Nova Lee. She's also in Thor. She plays Jane in the Thor movies. Well, she did before she stopped, you know. She's really good in the first one. They have really great chemistry together. Your Highness. This movie is kind of stupid. I've seen it once. But if you want body goals, check out Natalie Portman in that one because she's gorgeous. Black Swan. Very interesting movie. And this is the movie that Natalie won an Oscar for. The Other Boleyn Girl, she makes a really great Anne, but she is definitely a bitch in that movie. You know, I feel like a lot of Natalie Portman's roles, she's very nice, and The Other Boleyn Girl, ooh, now she's got some bitch flavor to her. And of course, Star Wars, where she was Padme as well. I would really like to see the Jackie movie that she did. I haven't had a chance to watch that one, but I do want to see that, about Jackie Kennedy. And V for Vendetta is another one that I haven't seen that has been suggested to me, so it's on my list of movies to see. Then we have an actress born in 1960 with 92 acting credits, 1 Oscar, and many other things. That is Julianne Moore. So she was in Mockingjay. She was actually President Coin in that, which I was surprised by that casting when it was first announced, because I had read the books, I was familiar with the character, and it's not exactly who I pictured when I had read the book, but I do think that she pulled it off. In the remake of Carrie, she's the crazy mother, and she pulls that role off as well, because that mother character is nuts, and I hadn't really seen Julianne Moore do something like that before, but she did a really good job. There's also this movie called Chloe. It's such a good film, and it was like a very messed up story, but I think she's fantastic in it. And that's another one that I feel like a lot of people haven't heard of, but it's with Julianne Moore and Liam Neeson and Amanda Seyfried. And it's just a very weird but messed up movie. I don't know. I was really into it. There's also The Forgotten. It's another great film. I feel like I'm saying this for a lot of these movies, but I like movies, guys. I really love this story and her character in this. There's certain like aspects to the character that it just like makes it a favorite because of certain things that they did, but I don't want to ruin the movie for you, so I won't tell you what those things are. And she was also in Jurassic Park 2, a sequel that I don't hate as much as some people do. 9 Months is one of my favorite comedies, and she is the main girl in that. She was in The Fugitive for a small bit as well. And there's also a movie called Six Souls that I saw on Netflix that is also on my, try to watch soon list. Then we have an actress born in 1946 with 64 acting credits. She has 2 Oscar wins and many other nominations and wins. That is Sally Field. Where the Heart Is. Wow, this movie keeps popping up, doesn't it? But she is a bitch in that movie. Not the normal Sally Field. She is horrible in Where the Heart Is. Of course, she was Forrest's mom in Forrest Gump. Mrs. Doubtfire, she was the mom, Robin Williams' ex in that. Soap Dish. Now, this movie is silly funny, but very comical, and she is very funny in this. Everybody is in this movie. There's a lot of different people in this film. Steel Magnolias, as I said, a movie I can watch over and over again, and she is really good in this as well. Does a really good job with different emotions in this movie that will make me cry, but it's still really good. Homeward Bound, apparently she does the voice of the cat that I didn't really think about or know, but I haven't seen that movie in forever, so I'd probably recognize her voice today. She won an Oscar for Places in the Heart, which I haven't seen, and Norma Ray, which I also have not seen. She was nominated for Lincoln, but dear God, I hated that movie. I was falling asleep through Lincoln. I did not like that movie at all. And of course, my dad would probably disown me if I didn't mention Smokey and the Bandit, which I've seen bits and pieces of, but yes, Sally Field was in that as well. Next, this actress was born in 1983 and has 24 acting credits with 1 Oscar and other wins and noms. She's another one that I just really enjoy her acting, and I want to see her in like a million more things. And that is Lupita Nyong'o. Now, she is in Star Wars, Force Awakens, and Last Jedi as Maz, and she played that role with motion capture effects. She was also in 12 Years a Slave, which is a very heartbreaking and sad movie, but she did win an Oscar for that role, so go girl. More recently, she was in Black Panther, where she's a really great badass female character, and I love it. I haven't seen The Jungle Book, but she does play a voice in that, and once again, she's just one of my favorites that I had to add to this list because I just would love to see her in like a million more things because she's one of those actresses or performers that I'm kind of drawn to. Then we have an actress born in 1949 with 64 acting credits and 1 Oscar. That is Sissy Spacek. So she was in The Help, a smaller part again, but she is funny in it. Run, Minnie, run! She's also in 4 Christmases. Her part of this movie is my favorite part in a Christmas film. And I quote it all the time with my family. It's funny. She was also in The Ring 2, where you get kind of like the creepy backstory to Samara and some, more creepy stuff that I love. Talk Everlasting, part of the family in that. And Carrie. Of course, Carrie. She is so good in that movie and like so innocent. And then, bam, bullying is bad, everyone. Coal Miner's Daughter. I need to see that. That's actually what she won her Oscar for, and it has been recommended to me quite a few times. Next, we have an actress born in 1958 with 74 acting credits, 2 Golden Globe wins, and various other wins and noms. That is Jamie Lee Curtis. I love Jamie Lee Curtis so much. So another one of my favorite Christmas movies is Christmas with the Cranks. It is probably my favorite. I love it so much, and she's hilarious with Tim Allen in it. Freaky Friday, which I think is a fantastic remake. And of course, Halloween. Of course, the Halloween movies, Laurie Strode, my favorite Scream Queen. My favorites being, of course, Halloween 1, 2, H2O, and the new 2018 one. Just, Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis, my favorite Scream Queen. True Lies is another movie that I could watch all the time. The comedy and the action is so fantastic in this, and she's really good in it as well because her character actually makes quite the transformation in this movie. Trading Places I just recently watched. And then Scream Queens. I've actually only seen the first season of this show, but it's like so fitting that they had her on it because, as I said, she's my favorite Scream Queen, so I just thought that was awesome. I still need to watch the second season of that show. And I also need to see Prom Night with her. I haven't seen the one she made. I've only seen the remake, so that's on my list as well. But yes, big fan of Jamie Lee Curtis. My family and I are always saying that she's just like totally goals at any age because she is just incredible. Then we have an actress born in 1982 with 35 acting credits. That is Sophia Bush. So recently she did a voice in Incredibles 2. So she was one of the superhero voices, which was cool to hear. One Tree Hill, that is what I first saw her in, One Tree Hill, which is one of my favorite TV shows, as Brooke Davis, and that pretty much was where I fell in love with her. She's also super nice in person, by the way. At least she was really nice to me when I met and talked to her. She was also in The Hitcher, was a great thriller movie. I haven't seen the original, but I do like that remake. John Tucker Must Die, which I felt like was like the chick flick everyone was into when I was younger. It's still funny, but it was just like so popular back then. Stay Alive is another good scary movie or thriller. Her character October is like one of my favorite characters. I would love an October movie. That's never gonna happen, but I just really like that character. And along with Sophia, we have an actress born in 1981 with 33 acting credits, and that is Bethany Joy Lenz. She was actually in an episode of Charmed, but she became a favorite of mine also on One Tree Hill, where she played Haley. She was also in Bring It On Again, but she's quite different in that movie. She's very mean. Let's see, she was also on Dexter as well for a brief bit, where she played a character named Cassie. That's always cool. She was on Grey's Anatomy more recently and more Christmas movies as well. And she was also very nice to me the 2 times that I've met her. Can you tell that I'm a fan of One Tree Hill? Yeah, I am. I was, I am, still am. Next, we have an actress born in 1971 with 97 acting credits, and that is Carla Gugino. I have the biggest, girl crush on her, probably because I love her in, everything she's in, and, I just think she's amazing. So, let's see. We have Gerald's Game. She's so good in this movie. And I seriously hope she won something for it, because she is, incredible. She, holds this film pretty much on her own. It's a good, horror thriller type movie. It's actually based on a Stephen King book. So good. It's on Netflix. San Andreas is an action movie, and a lot of people thought it was corny, but I enjoyed it, so whatever. And she's also really good in that, and she has some badass lines in it too. I hear they might be making a sequel to this, but I'm not exactly sure what that would be about or how that works. She was in New Year's Eve for a small part. Sucker Punch, as I mentioned earlier, this movie is kind of hit or miss with some people, but wanted to include it for her list. Spy Kids, the mom from Spy Kids. That's how I saw her for so many years. Was oh, the mom from Spy Kids. But I think the first thing I ever saw her in was Son-in-Law, and that is still funny. I will still watch that. So many funny parts in that. More recently, I binged the show twice. That is The Haunting of Hill House. And she is once again really fantastic in that. And I hope to God I said the name of that show right, because I never say it right. The Haunting of Hill House. I keep wanting to say the Hilly Haunted House. That haunted house on a hill. I say the name wrong all the time, but I think it's The Haunting of Hill House. Then we have an actress born in 1972 with 131 acting credits. She has 1 Oscar and various other wins and noms, and that is Octavia Spencer. Let's see. Gifted is a favorite movie that I've seen of hers. It's a very sweet movie with Chris Evans and, of course, Octavia. I really enjoy the part that she plays in that. Hidden Figures is another fantastic movie that she's really good in. The Help, Minnie is a really great character, might be my favorite character in that. And she was also in The Shape of Water, which I need to see. So many people have said it's such a big thing or whatever, but I have not seen that movie. She's just another one that I really enjoy everything I see her in. Next, we have an actress born in 1969 with 101 acting credits. She was nominated for a Golden Globe as well as other wins and noms. That is Jennifer Lopez. So The Boy Next Door came out in 2015 and was super creepy and interesting movie, and I enjoyed it. Mother-in-Law is a very funny comedy movie with Jane Fonda. Made in Manhattan, another chick flick type film that I could watch all the time. But one of my favorite movies from her is actually Enough. I can watch this film over and over again, and I love it, and I think she's amazing in it. We also have The Wedding Planner, which is another little cute chick flick. Selena, of course. She is very well known for her portrayal of Selena. One of my favorite movies about a real person. I think it was really well done. I think she did a good job. And then she was even in the movie Jack. She played the teacher in that, super cute little movie. Then we have an actress born in 1965 with 68 acting credits and is nominated for an Oscar. That is Diane Lane. So recently, she is in, Man of Steel or the DC world, where she plays Martha Kent. That's, Superman's mom, if you're not familiar with his adoptive mom. And it's always funny because they, try and age her more for Martha Kent than, she actually looks in real life. She's in the movie Jumper for a small bit. Untraceable. That's a good one. Such an intense movie, and she's, really good character in it, and, holds up to the intenseness of the plot. In Jack, she is the mom in that. And then Under the Tuscan Sun, another chick flick movie that I could just watch all the time. Chick flick movies can just be so easy to watch and enjoyable. Next is an actress born in 1985 with 41 acting credits, and that is Katrina Law. So I first saw her on Arrow, and she played Anissa Al Ghul, and I just really loved her in that role. And so after that, I've kind of just she's become a favorite of mine. I've only seen her in a few things, but I kind of specifically go out of my way to see her in other things, so she's definitely a favorite. I watched a movie, Darkness Rising. Horrible horror movie, but I watched it for her because I wanted to see her. And she's also done a couple different like Christmas movies and things like that that I should really see because I am such a fan of her. Next up, we have an actress born in 1973 with 56 acting credits, nominated for an Oscar and other wins and nominations. That is Vera Farmiga. So Orphan, I believe, is the first thing that I saw her in. Crazy movie. Good thriller, good mystery, but crazy. And she is really great in it. Her character is dealing with a lot of different things, so I think that she plays the part really well. And she's just another one that I love everything I see her in. Like, I will go out of my way to see something that she's in because I like her. Like, I think she's going to be in this new Godzilla movie, which I think looks stupid, but I'll probably end up seeing it because she's in it. The Conjuring, of course, being a huge fan of the Conjuring series, I love her as Lorraine Warren. And then she was also in Bates Motel. I've seen bits and pieces of this show. I should probably sit down and watch the whole thing since I do enjoy her, and I'm a fan of Psycho, so I should probably sit down and watch that show at some point. Keeping with her, we have an actress born in 1994 with 20 acting credits. Tasia Farmiga, that would be her sister. And once again, there's just like something about Tasia that I really enjoy, and like I want to see her in more things because I enjoy her performances. So the first thing I saw her in was American Horror Story, where she played Violet in first season. And of course, she's been back in other seasons as well. A couple months ago, I saw The Nun, which is part of the Conjuring world, and she was like the main character in that she did really good with like a horror type movie. Final Girls. Final Girls is a great comedy flick about what it's like to be in a horror movie, and she's really good in it. And there are like so many other films on her IMDb list that I would just like love to see purely because I enjoy her as an actress. Then we have an actress born in 1990 with 22 acting credits and several different wins and nominations. That would be Emma Watson. So, Harry Potter, of course. My introduction to her was the Harry Potter series. She'll always be Hermione Granger to me. I'll always love her acting because of that series. But I also have favourites from her, such as Beauty and the Beast. I did like her interpretation of Belle and what they did with the character. I also saw her in Perks of Being a Wallflower. It's a nice movie. I've like halfway through the book. And in This Is the End, she plays herself actually, which is really funny. Next actress was born in 1986 with 40 acting credits, and that is Camilla Bell. So the first thing I saw her in was probably Rip Girls. It was a Disney Channel original movie about surfing that I really got into. From there, I saw her in other things like Push, which is kind of like a superhero mutant type movie, but she's kind of badass in it. When a Stranger Calls is a really good thriller, and she's the main character in that. So, she's kind of like the badass Nemo in that movie. She was also in Practical Magic as a young Sally. And let's see, she also had some small parts in The Lost World Jurassic Park and Little Princess. Next, we have one that I, of course, had to include. She was born in 1956 and sadly passed away in 2016. She has 92 acting credits and has been nominated for several different Emmys. That would be Carrie Fisher. So I figure, I have a quote from her tattooed on my arm. I should probably include her on this list. And she is definitely one of those that I love her because she did bring one of my favorite characters to life. But more importantly, I loved Carrie Fisher for her, if that makes sense. And not just simply a role that she played. So that's where she fits into this favorite list, of course. So if you aren't familiar, by some miracle, she was in a few Star Wars movies, So you can count New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and whatever they end up doing with Leia in this next one. Time will tell. But she was also in Blues Brothers, where her character is really fantastic. It's quite funny. She's very violent, but she's like doing her nails and looking through a catalog of weapons, that type of thing. Very good. She was also in this like Frankenstein TV movie that I've seen bits and pieces of. The Burbs. She's kind of like the voice of reason in this little neighborhood when like weird neighbors move into town. It's a really funny movie with like Tom Hanks. It's funny. She is also in Soap Dish. As I had previously said, there's a shit ton of people in Soap Dish, but she's really funny in that one. It's just a little part, but still comical. Everyone is so hilarious in that movie. In Austin Powers, she was like the therapist that was trying to help, I believe, Dr. Evil, if I remember that correctly. She was in Scream 3. I love the Scream series, and she has a fantastic part in the third one where she's basically playing like Carrie Fisher's look-alike. It's very funny, the lines that she has, and she basically says, yeah, I auditioned for Leia, and who got the part? The one that slept with George Lucas. It's just like very much her type of comedy in that little part in Scream 3, so I definitely appreciate it. She's in Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. I believe she's a nun in that. She's played a nun in a couple different things. She's in Fanboys, just like once again like this brief little cameo that's perfect for all of the Star Wars fans because Fanboys is all about being a Star Wars fan. She was in the movie Sorority Row, which I haven't seen for years, but I like horror movies, so that's why I originally saw it. And she was kind of like, I don't even know what they call it. I'm not a sorority person. She was basically like the adult that was in the house with all like the girls or whatever. She was in The Big Bang Theory, which I've seen clips from of her part. And I feel like I just need to like watch everything on her IMDb list because I need some more. I need some more Carrie Fisher. And also I'm a fan of her like different stand-up tours. It's so funny. And her books as well. So just overall, in general, I'm a fan. So she needed to be included in this. Alright, so our final actress we have here was born in 1953 with 104 acting credits and 1 Oscar, and that is Mary Steenburgen. So I actually didn't have her on my list until I was looking through some of my other favorite movies, and I realized that she should probably be on here. I also recently watched her in the movie Book Club, which was very funny. It had me rolling. Everyone in that film was good. But I really like her in Back to the Future 3. I love that movie. It's actually my favorite Back to the Future movie. I know I'm weird. In Elf, she's also great in that Christmas movie. She was the mom on Joan of Arcadia. I used to watch that a lot, but I actually barely remember that show these days. Step Brothers, I've literally seen once, and I doubt I'll see it again. Four Christmases Again, that's popped up quite a few times today, isn't it? She's kind of annoying in that, but I still really enjoy her. The Proposal, great movie. I love her character. She's like Ryan Reynolds' mom in that. The Help, I also forgot that she was the editor in this until I was looking down her IMDb page and seeing what she had been in. And she was also more recently in a couple seasons of Orange is the New Black. A few different episodes here and there, which was crazy. She was like Pornstash's mom. I was like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. Alright guys, so I hope that you have enjoyed this chat about some of my favorite actresses. As I said, some of them I have so many favorites. I've loved so many of their movies, so they had to be on the list. And others, I only have a couple favorite movies or TV shows from them, but I really wanted to include them because I go out of my way to watch their work, because I really enjoy their performances. So it's kind of like two different sides of favorite actresses. And there are probably a million other actresses that I could have included in this. Jennifer Lawrence could have been one of these on here as well. There's just probably a bunch of other ladies that are my favorites, but I did try to hold myself back a bit, cut some of it down. I see Billie Lourd being added to this list as the coming years, right? Especially after this last season of American Horror Story. There's just so many different talented actresses and different shows I watch, different movies I see, is so many. So these were a lot of ones that came to mind immediately or that I noticed, I noticed them repeat in my movie podcasts where I talked about my favorite movies. I saw those names come up a few times, so I included them on the list. And then there's the ones that I go out of my way to watch their movies because I just love them. If you enjoy any of the actresses that I mentioned and there's a movie that I haven't seen of theirs, please let me know. I am always up for movie suggestions. I love films. So next week I will hopefully be covering my favorite actors to go along with this actress podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will catch you on the next Chit Chat with Cass.